Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. Weather's nice and Nashville's getting a little cooler, a little rainy, but I welcome the cooler temperatures. Well, guys, we have a lot to discuss today. I'm super excited. Just got back from Vegas. We have some airline news to talk about. We have some cruise news to talk about. Some great things. If you're just joining me, I am Jason Poole. I am a travel advisor with Cruise Planners, and don't let the name fool you. It's more than just cruises. Love talking all things travel, everything related to the industry. So we're going to dig in. Now, if you're one of these people who travels over Thanksgiving, get ready. They're expecting record travel numbers this year, both in on the road, highways, and at the airport. The standard rules apply. Get to the airport a little earlier, hit the road a little earlier. It's going to be a busy travel time. Hope you guys have a wonderful time. And people are already starting to ask me, gosh, Jason, I wish I was doing a vacation next Thanksgiving. What are some options? So now is a great time to start thinking about what's out there for Thanksgiving 2026. Now, let's get into the bulk of the news. What everybody's talking about is Spirit Airline has filed for bankruptcy protection. Now, ultimately, what does that mean for Spirit customers, people who have existing reservations? Honestly, not a lot. This is just a restructuring of their debt. Operations are going to happen as normal. Lots of people have been texting me, asking me, oh my gosh, is my Spirit flight canceled? The answer is a resounding no, it is not canceled. Everything is fine. Well, it's not fine, but your flights are okay. Spirit is going to start doing what has been successful with other cruise lines. When you see, what the Americans, United, the Deltas of the world, in some ways, what we're seeing Southwest kind of go through, right? They're revamping what they're doing. So your current Spirit reservations, A-okay, but it'll be curious to see what changes come from Spirit. Now, this is kind of cool. Delta realizes that, lots of people have these massive accounts of Sky Miles. And so they're relaunching something called Sky Mile Experiences, where you can use your Sky Miles to purchase or bid on some pretty cool experiences, such as like Broadway tickets, access to major sporting events, culinary classes. So if you're someone sitting on a ton of Sky Miles, millions and millions that you will never go through, take a look at the revamped Sky Mile experiences. It actually launched today. There are some experiences that can be purchased immediately. And then there are some you have to bid on, but they probably only have a limited supply, and they're hoping people bid more. So that's a cool thing. If you don't have millions and millions or hundreds of thousands, it might be good to hold on to them. But I think that's kind of cool. They're allowing you to spend them in other ways than just flights. Now, this is kind of cool too. The U.S. News and World Report came out with their 2025 report of best cruise lines, and there's a ton of categories. We're not going to go through all of them. I thought I would just pick 4 or 5 that just kind of spoke to me, thought the results were interesting. So the first one is best cruise line for the money. This is a topic that I'm often asked, like, hey, how much does a cruise cost, right? And my response is always, how much is a car? There's 3-night cheap cruises, there's world cruises on luxury lines, everything in between. But a question I also have is like, hey, what's the best value? Like, where can my dollar be stretched the furthest? And the top cruise line for the money, top 3, number 3, MSC Cruises, number 2, Virgin, and number 1, Celebrity Cruises. I'm not surprised to see Celebrity at the top of best cruise line for the money, especially when you book with a travel advisor that has access to those exclusive rates, unpublished rates, group rates that include the drinks and the Wi-Fi. So I am not shocked at all to see Celebrity top of that list for best cruise line for the money. Next one, best cruise line for families, right? People always ask, like, or people say like, oh, I can't imagine going on a ship that has 3,000, 4,000 kids. It's like, well, guess what? Sometimes people do want those experiences. So the top three cruise lines for families, according to US News and World Report: number three, Norwegian Cruise Line; number two, Royal Caribbean; and number one, Disney. No surprise, all of those brands are very actively going after the family segment. So Norwegian, Royal, Disney, top three best cruise lines for families. Now, what about couples? You're a couple, you want to get away. Maybe you don't really want to see a lot of the kids out there. What did they say are the best cruise lines for couples? Number three, Celebrity Cruises. Number two, Seabourn. Number one, no surprise here, Viking Ocean. Why? Adults only. You cannot go on Viking with a child. So that does not surprise me one bit. When people ask me, I want to go on a cruise, no kids, I say, you've got two very different experiences that are adults only: Virgin Voyages and Viking. They're both similar, and they're adults only. I joke they both have the V in their name, but other than that, not a lot of similarities between Virgin and Viking. I love them both, and if you want adults only, those are two options. But best cruise line for couples, U.S. News and World Report says, is Viking Ocean. Now, best cruise line for the Caribbean. Caribbean is a very popular destination. It's where people often take their very first cruise. Not a lot of people take their first cruise to, Asia. Caribbean is where people start cruising. So the best cruise line for Caribbean is very important. Number three, Virgin Voyages. Look, Virgin's having a lot of success in the Caribbean. Their ships are fun. They're attracting new people to the industry. Not surprised, Virgin is number three. Number two, Celebrity Cruises. This is something I don't think Celebrity would have won a couple years ago. They have really doubled down on the Caribbean. Celebrity Beyond, year-round Caribbean sailings, lots of shorter ships, or a lot of shorter sailings. Celebrity is really investing in the Caribbean, and it is paying off. I have lots of clients that are experiencing Celebrity for the first time because they've been able to double down on Caribbean itineraries. Number one cruise line for the Caribbean, winning another category here, is Disney Cruise Line. That's kind of their bread and butter, family trips, Caribbean. Not surprised to see Disney right there at the top. And last but not least, the one we're going to discuss is best luxury cruise line. Number three, Regent Seven Seas. I'm a new Regent convert, sailed on them earlier this year, fell in love with Regent. I think they do a phenomenal job. Number two, Seabourn. Seabourn's a great product because they do a lot of expedition travel. Like their ships down to Antarctica look stunning. They have lots of really neat and longer itineraries around the world. Number one, Viking Ocean. This almost kind of surprises me because Viking intentionally doesn't use the word luxury in their marketing. But when you have all, excursions included, your gratuities, they can take care of your airfare, your transfer. I'm not surprised that they're in here because a lot of clients, once they sail on Viking, river or ocean or expedition, they tend to kind of stay in that Viking family. You kind of get used to all the amenities that they provide. So lots more topics or lots more categories. We just left it at that. Now, before we end, if you can indulge me, I have a little story I want to tell you about what happened to me on a flight. And I'm curious to see who you think is the villain. And if I'm the villain, tell me. I can accept it. So I'm flying home from Las Vegas. I had a great time, by the way. Stayed at the Wynn. Wow, stunning. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Flying home from Vegas. And I'm sitting in the seat I want to sit. Row one, seat B. So that is aisle row one of the bulkhead. People are boarding. I'm on my iPad. I'm typing away. And a woman taps me and asks me if I'd be willing to change seats to go a few rows back, still in first class. And I politely said, no, I'm good. I picked the seat for a reason. I like being row one. She scoffs, walks away, not happy. I see all of a sudden a commotion in first class. It is like musical chairs so this adult woman can sit next to her adult husband. No small children involved. And I was just like, whatever, I'm not going to worry about it. So I kept typing away. Finally, a gentleman moves up to sit next to me. And, he has his bag and he can't leave it in row one. He asked the woman to store it above. If she could take her bag and store it below, she didn't look happy. Whatever. I'm just like, let's just focus on the flight. So, flight's over. We're zipping everything up. This woman comes and gives the bag to the man. And I hear her say, "Thank you so much for changing seats. We need nicer people in this world. There's just not enough nice people in this world." Hands him the bag and like hits me on the head. And I'm just remaining calm. I'm like, I'm not getting in an altercation on a flight. I will let this woman be a little crazy. I'm going to just let it happen. It's okay. So I zip up my bag. I walk off the plane. I'm walking to the bathroom at the airport. And right as I walk in, this woman screams a profanity at me, calls me a name as I'm walking in the bathroom. And guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of glad that I was going into the men's room to kind of have a moment or two to calm down. Because it really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So that's kind of another story. Nothing else happened. I avoided her at baggage claim. So my question is, would you have changed seats? Do you think it's okay to ask to change seats? And is it okay to tell somebody, no, you will not change seats? So I've never had anything like an altercation on a flight. It was kind of the first time. I was just kind of in shock. So anyways, that was my crazy story. Who's the villain in that story? Is it me? Is it the lady? Love to know. So comment below if you're watching on Facebook. So guys, thank you so much for joining. Hope you're having a great day and we will be back next week. Take care. Bye guys.